pain being too heavy.
Okay.
On the climb.
Sure.
Well, me and the co-pilot take turns holding their stick forward. Finally, I noticed a flotation cushion there, and I put it between my knee and the column, and it took most of the pressure off.
Yeah.
So a little over 2 hours to England that way.
Man.
So I was still tired the next day.
So what mission number was this one?
That's my third raid. And I had 22 more.
22 more to go. Oh my gosh. So this would have been, this was number 3?
Number 4. Number 4 engine.
That was number 4? Okay.
The Mississippi Gallows came in from 430 level, and I interviewed the crew later, and I found out that the right tail gunner was working on a little malfunction. He didn't shoot at it.
Oh.
The Paul turret gunner was reloaded, so he couldn't shoot. The top turret gunner was busy on the other side, and no one shot at him. That's why he came in so close and tore us up.
That is, I've messed with those props. Those are heavy. Those are some serious.
Now, can you imagine the speed this thing was going, and the speed of the projectile, how they got together there?
Yeah.
It's hard to see it.
They said you wanted to talk to me. Must want to correct me on my technique out
This is
there.
that picture's worth 1,000 words.
Oh yeah. What did you hit? Or what hit you?
20 millimeter from a Messerschmitt 109.
Is that right?
That's number 4 on the blade, number 4 engine.
That number 4? Okay. What group?
351st Group.
Oh yes.
508 Squadron.
Is it Triangle A?
I was at Polebrook, 80 miles north of London.
Yes. Did you have Triangle A on your tail?
Triangle J.
Triangle J. Okay.
I'm 21 years old there.
Wow.
I made a program to retirement center where I live in Madison.
Uh-huh.
And shoot them there, and I said, now, 21 years old, never been kissed.
That's incredible. Boy, that's a lot of damage to that blade, isn't it?
Yeah.
The airplane took other hits, I assume, too, right? Or is that just the...
Oh, we had 837 holes in it.
Is that right? What was the name of that airplane, do you remember?
Yeah. There it is.
Dottie J.
It was a used airplane. It was an E model.
Okay.
It'd already been on 4 months of flying before I took it.
When did you arrive over there?
Around the 1st of June in 43.
Okay.
Over a year before D-Day, see?
Yeah, you had the nasty missions.
And the Mustangs had not arrived.
Yeah, you had the P-47s, the Thunderbolts,
That's it.
and Spitfires, maybe?
Spitfires go as far as Belgium sometimes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Mr. Hull, what I've got here is I've got a book, an 8th Air Force book. If I can have you sign it.
Okay.
And I'll get to your group right here in Polebrook. And they have all the, I take a book out every year for you guys to sign. This is my history of you guys. There's 351st Bomb Group right there. Anything?
Polebrook.
That look familiar?
Have you ever been to Polebrook?
No? No, I haven't.
It's about 6 or 8 buildings and one pub. They all have thatched roofs. And I went over there 40 years later to visit as a tourist.
Yes.
Nothing had changed.
Really?
Time had stood still.
Now, I did have one fellow here a couple years ago sign, Charles Givens. He was a bombardier, 34 missions. And he was in the 351st. But I'll give that to you there if you want to find a space. I don't know if you recognize this airplane, Jenny?
Never seen it before.
No?
You want me to sign my name somewhere?
Yeah, just go ahead and put your name and your squadron if you want to.
Alpha Gold.
The State
And,
Guard retired out of the Navy. And,
Is that 351st Bomb Group?
Squadron 508.
And go ahead and put pilot
We're witnessing history here, huh?
and your number of missions. You flew 25
25.
and survived.
They told us before we left Rapid City, South Dakota, that we finished 25 raids, come home and be through with combat in World War II.
They said I
But it was a
retired.
big order, of course, out of the 20.
Well,
Yeah, you had about,
Out of those 25 crews, 5 of us made it to Mexico.
out of 25?
it was on the
I figured
We
the
had
odds.
80% casualties.
Yeah.
Holbrook.
80%. Yeah, 1943. That's so true. I figured 1 in 3. Chances of 33%, but it's less than that.
You ever heard of the bombing raid on Swamp?
Yes.
I was there.
Was that Black Thursday?
I mean, it was on my birthday. The day I was 22.
You know what a good book is to get?
And our group lost 34% of the planes that day.
Yeah.
There's that triangle, Jay.
There's a book that came out a couple of years ago. I picked it up in Seattle at the Museum of Flight called To Kingdom Come. To Kingdom Come. And it documents, it actually goes through about 9 or 10 different veterans and their lives. And then what would happen on missions like Schweinfurt. Oh, it was incredible. Was that led by, I'm thinking that general, I got a mental block now. What was that general nobody thought much of that took over one of the groups? And he was actually flying missions as a general. And he had, it was Schweinfurt if I'm not mistaken. Didn't you have to circle several times and come back around?
Well, we had to circle and get in higher, bigger and bigger formations as we climbed.
Yeah.
We'd spend 20 or 25 minutes at least climbing.
But what about when you got to Schweinfurt, the target? Did you have to go around and come around back to an IP, or did you make your run?
The IP was northwest of town.
Uh-huh.
And the factory was just 100 yards from a river, so by the curvature of the river, we was able to locate the factory pretty well in spite of a smoke screen. They always had a smoke screen.
Yes. That's true, yeah.
You know the story on that?
That looks like a stationary Centurion, it's a 210.
Pressurized 50. Well, here's the route I flew around the world in that airplane.
Oh, is that right?
And that's your copy.
You're already trained, you're now a staff sergeant.
I'd rather have the other pictures. Oh, man. So you took that around and, you know, I'm trying to remember. I remember you doing this. Couldn't remember your name. But you were an AOPA pilot and everything back then. They wrote this up. It's all kind of coming back to me now, 1978. Which I would have been 22 years old.
Well, just seeing y'all, you guys too, good luck on your job.
That's amazing.
Now, you know what happened to that airplane? I gave it to the Baptist missionaries in Tanzania and Kenya.
Is that right?
I visited missionaries all around on that trip.
Now, was this picture taken before or after?
That was in September before the trip. I left in December.
December, okay. Yep, December 16th.
You know another interesting thing about this? I didn't have any mechanical troubles and I was able to keep that schedule. Got back for a formal homecoming when I was supposed to.
And this was turbocharged?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Pressurized. Before I had this, I had a turbocharged 68 model that fly higher than this one, but it wasn't pressurized.
It took you 3 months, huh?
Well, I wasn't in a hurry.
That's great.
I was a tourist. Now, in all my flying, I've been in 74 foreign countries.
Is that right?
So I've got a lot of miles on me.
It's like I was trying to meet air. Try to show my friend.
Well, thank you. I'm going to put this right in here with the 351st Bomb Group. Thank you very much.
Now, I went back to this base 40 years later. I also went to Swine. And the only thing left of that air base at Polkbrook was the last 150 feet of one runway that was near a public road. And there they had a monument about 6 feet tall, a triangle monument, listing the data of that group. The number of raids that went on during those 2 years they were there.
Wow.
And everything else plowed up back in pasture.
Is that right?
And on that particular base, yeah.
Were you originally from this area?
Well, I don't know Mississippi.
Okay.
Were you in the Air Force?
He's the real thing. He flew B-17s in World War II. Yes.
Here I am, 21 years old.
Whoa. What happened to the propeller?
He wants to know what happened to the propeller.
He got hit by a cannon shell, 80 caliber cannon shell, called a 20 millimeter. It's an explosive shell.
Dang.
You messed up my propeller, it
They,
wasn't
they,
you.
they were trying to shoot him down.
You lived?
Charles, did all your crew make it?
He's stuck.
Had three of them injured this day. 2 of them are outpatient, but one of them's in a weekly hospital on this raid.
Do you remember what raid that was?
Number 3 for me, and I had 25 total to go.
Do you remember where he went?
Yeah. Shipbuilding factories at Kiel in northern Germany, just beyond the Danish Peninsula.
Yeah.
They're building submarines.
Yeah, Kiel. That was another big hit.
Incidentally, submarines were a bigger problem back then than most folks realized. We were short of a lot of stuff there until the late fall of '43, like extra gun barrels and heated flying suits, all those kinds of stuff. We was eating spam and dehydrated foods and reconstituted milk from powder milk. Submarine minutes, yeah.
Can we get it on tape? How about the English women you were chasing around? I've seen those
That's
movies.
another topic.
You guys all had bicycles, I bet.
But let me tell you this. We was over there a year before D-Day. The invasion troops had not yet arrived. And the British troops were all in the Mediterranean and North Africa. And there was a man shortage in England.
And you took full advantage of that.
And those girls shocked me how brazen they were looking for men.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. That's pretty neat. I've read some of the accounts. Everybody said the first thing you guys would do when you got there is buy a bicycle so you could ride into town.
You want me to tell you some of the hazards of high altitude flight?
Yeah.
We were going to be flying up to 27,000, 28,000, not pressurized, see?
Right.
So we didn't know whether there was any long-term problems involved. So we asked the RAF pilots who'd been flying high for 3 or 4 years if there's any long-term problems with a lot of high-altitude flying. They said, Yanks, you'll become sterile and your hair will fall out. See?